Hello, hello. How are y'all this evening? Hello, welcome to Old Gray Bricks Messy Monday. It is quite messy, and we're hanging out with you. Good to have you here today. Let me pause that music there. Brian Anderson is already in the chat. It is the three of us. We may have a few more folks joining us this evening. So what's going on in y'all's world today?
I'm waiting for my Lego delivery because
your Lego delivery. What are you getting?
Well, I pre-ordered the Ghost, which I'm not getting today because it comes out September 1. But I am getting the Ninjago Temple of the Dragon Spheres. No, Matthew, it's not Dragon Balls. Thank you. And also because I ordered those things, they threw in the Bionicle GWP and the Blacktron GWP. So those two.
Oh, good.
And also the Funky Fun Bag, whatever that is. We're getting funky in here.
You're getting funky fun bags and balls. So I don't.
Got eyeballs and bananas.
Did somebody say there's a Santa hat in there?
There's a pineapple. There's a you get dark turquoise 3-pointed leaves. You get a couple skateboards, and you get pineapples, and you get pink beehives for whatever reason.
Somebody, I don't know if it was a mistake or somebody said theirs came with a one Santa hat, like as a reference to the fact that Christmas happens in summer down, down under or whatever. So
there's an orange space helmet in there.
Yeah, I've heard that. That's cool.
I can do an unbagging if you want.
But I do have exciting news. I found the torso to my Chief figure.
Nice.
Small Paul had the torso with mismatched arms and like legs from something else and whatever. I found it in one of his bins across the room. I was actually looking for something completely different and ran across. I was like, my Chief's torso. So
that's like $300 or $400 right there in your hand. You know, that's crazy sauce. So
is it really?
Yeah.
$300?
It's because this is the only Rock Raider figure that came specifically in the little collector things. And the funny thing is, these were clearanced out at Toys R Us, like clearanced in the clearance bucket, dollar a piece, clearanced out at Toys R Us back in the day. And I'm sure a whole bunch of them ended up in landfills. But people covet that now because it is now it's rare and everybody wants it to complete their Rock Raiders collections. So
yeah, there is a where'd he go? There was also from the Ninja line from that day. There was a 3-pack of those ninjas, and there's a guy, and I bought him multiples of them because he came with the black armor piece and everything, and that was the only thing you get him in. And so even though he's made out of some common pieces, sort of, if you put that black armor on him, that guy's worth a couple $300, super rare. Like there's one in the States for 100 and something. Then there's a couple in Europe for $300 and everything, just for that samurai guy, because it came in those packs that were a short run and then they disappeared. But they had a unique figure that didn't appear in the line. And so, so that samurai is really expensive, but the Chief, since they killed the line for Rock Raiders, the Chief is mega expensive. And he has a turquoise arm. And thanks to our friend Brian Roney, he confirmed he's got the turquoise arm. But if you look, the printing goes up and it looks like he should have a silver arm. And the original design for him actually did have a chromed out arm, which would have been awesome. So they cheaped out.
If this had been a chromed arm, I probably would have bought the entire clearance bin.
Right.
Because having a bunch of dudes with a chromed out arm would have been awesome.
Yeah, well, I took I had 2 or 3 of them, and I'm sure I can piece them together hopefully one day when I find the pieces, because I'm the one that busted them apart, because I put that robot arm that you put the claw in there, so it looks like he's a robot powered up arm guy and everything. So crazy. All right, let's see. Entertainingly Lame is here. Brian Anderson is here. Battery Powered Bricks is here. Oh, look. Crab your lawns.
That's right. The vertebrates are so inferior. We are the crabulons. So I went to Atlanta Brick Co. this weekend before our meeting, and I bought mostly the crabs, and created the crabulon, more
You got
crabulon.
the crabs at Atlanta BrickCon? Okay.
Yes, Mark Erickson gave me crabs at Atlanta Brick Con. Atlanta Brick Co's.
I gave him power functions and he gave you crabs.
Yes.
Okay.
So crabulons, and of course I also I made a hello fellow vertebrates.
Disguise.
Aren't
Crabulon.
things great in the Space Corps where we are all humans?
You know what they need? You know how the Wizard of Oz character came with the Tin Man came with the little oil to keep his joints lubricated? They need like those little water spritzers to keep them hydrated.
Yeah, well, that's what they all sit in the little bowls.
Keeps it moist.
Yes.
Yeah, you should get the little spritzy bottle. They have one in this is the Fleabnork Duty spray right here.
Oh yeah. Friend said
little,
I've got a bunch of those. I could actually give you spritz bottles if you want them.
you know what's funny about this spritz bottle is the bottom of the spritz bottle fits upside down in the body of a torso. It's that piece right there.
Serious?
Yeah. So you can have this doll body with legs that is a spray bottle, which is kind of funny. So
that sounds like a very Galador type guy. What's his Will Hafner would have already figured that out by weirdly applying things that normally you would never think would fit into spots.
Yes, you can defeat the crabulons with melted butter.
Get one of the shoulder launcher things, but have a yellow stick of butter sticking out of the back of it or whatever.
No.
Oh. A big boiling pot of water and all right. That was a large tray of what was the orange you just put up? Was that just your orange parts?
Oh, this I am now done with lime green. This was a large the tray color in this case does not match what goes inside, but I just finished stowing lime green from the Great Summer Sort 2023.
I did not get a great sort in this summer.
In order to get my crabs, I actually had to buy the shipwreck dudes. So now I got all these shipwreck dudes. So,
are you saying those dudes gave you crabs?
Yeah, these hairy men.
Well, there. Hello.
So I want to know if battery-powered bricks is powered by rechargeable batteries or single-use batteries. It's the kind of question that need to be answered.
I bet he's rechargeable.
Okay, he does keep coming back, so I guess he must be getting recharged somewhere.
Yeah. Yep. So I'm trying to think of. I may be having bad reception. Am I blanking out?
No, I can hear you.
Okay, good. Yeah, I just got a warning up here. Anyway, so we had a great, just for the three of us, we actually had a really good club meeting this weekend for Peach Lug, and a lot of really cool builds. I think it was cool that the people who won our little contest were new builders, not established or whatever, but some of the new kids to the club actually won anonymously, which was great. So I thought that was a really cool thing. It's a lot of fun.
So I'll show you what I'm doing, which is interrupting the Great Summer Sort 2023 is sorting the parts from the wall. And so as with a number of other places, our wall got some better parts. And so I went last Friday and I got some cups, and then I swung by there today. For example, blue girders.
Those are nice.
Main power when possible. And we had the little mini Christmas trees for your tiny Christmas. And everybody needs upright clips, right? A whole cup. So a few years ago, when the sand green upright clips were available, I started making pine trees. I had seen somebody at Brick for Alabama who had used the four-sided Erlinger brick or headlight brick or whatever you call it. And to make it look like there's snow on the top of the pine trees, you need the white upright clips. And I pulled my drawer out and I'm like, well, I'm sure I have a bunch of those. No, I had 20, which if you're putting them on trees, they go by real quick. So when they showed up on the wall this last week, I was like rubbing my hands together like, yes, because they're excellent filler. So I'm pulling them out from inside the girder. So I've got like these like, oh, look, there's a white clip inside because it was all jammed in a cup. So I am.
What? You could have just taken the girder and snapped them on the bars and everything like that.
Very true.
Well, I'll say that clip of all parts that have been redesigned, that redesign of that clip, I really, really, really like. I like because it doesn't break. It's much more nimble. The plastic bends better, but it has a better look than the old one. The old one looks kind of clunky.
I remember Dana going on an entire rant about how people don't pay attention when they list this part on Bricklink, and there's like 3 different versions of it, and one of them is like, there we go. Yeah. One of them a little more U-shaped, and one of them's a little more clippy shaped. And he's like, I ordered these, and I need this part because he was reconstructing the old sets, and he wanted a specific kind of upright clip, and he would be unhappy when they would send him the wrong kind. So.
Well, the one that is really different for Classic Space Days are these.
Yeah.
Get my hands
right. They're really different. I'm not being smart ass. I'm like, I didn't realize they were that different.
Yeah. This is the old one.
Okay.
And it's thinner, but when you put a plate on it, it is actually flush with the plate.
Okay.
That it's connected to. However, they would break really easy because there's not a lot of plastic there, so they thickened it up. It's different. So anyway, I got 2 people I need to thank right now. Number 1, Jeff Van Winden. This is the last one. I got this Saturday at our club meeting. Mark got that to me, and Jake and I polished them off pretty quick.
Yep.
But I do at our Publix, we do have a large size bar from this, but I know these are authentically Canadian, so I appreciate it. Also, thank you from Canada for the smoke here in Atlanta. We appreciate it.
Really? It's hitting. Wow.
Yeah. Good rednecks have put a probably at least a pork butt on the back porch because why waste that smoke in the air? So anyways, and Moto is in the room. Moto, look, I finally got my hands on it. I'm excited. I have read the letter, and that's very honoring of you, sir. And so I will be opening this. I'm not going to do it on stream because I want to pay attention to it and enjoy the build. But I will be making some social media posts about that. So Moto, thank you for this honor, giving me that present and everything. So you're the man, the myth, the legend. Anyway, Van Winden, what is up in your world?
Nothing. No. I'm packed up pretty much. I got my last few dots in yesterday or this morning to finish up my mosaic because I rebuilt it with. It was just redesigned by Janie or recolored by Janie because I have poor color taste. Anyway, so the last few parts came in for that, so I'll pack that up tonight. My castle, which is normally, I forgot that thing's there. Normally in that big empty space back there, is packed up and upstairs. Not in the trailer yet, but it's upstairs. I'm going to load it up tomorrow. And
your room looks so empty without a big castle in it.
It is. It's weird. So yeah, that and everything else is upstairs that I need. I'm just I realize that there's a yard sale, so I might grab something for that in the next few days before I leave. Like I'm working tomorrow and then I'm off Wednesday, and I'll leave here at about 1:00 Wednesday to get to the hotel for 3 because I'm only 2 hours away, which is weird because how many conventions can you go to that are only 2 hours away from you, other than Atlanta BrickCon for you guys?
Greenville, South Carolina.
Yeah. And tomorrow we're gonna pre-tape a Canadian Brick Builders episode to drop on Wednesday. Since I'll be there already, David Sincere will be on the road, and Dave Caddis will still be at home, probably making YouTube videos about a piece from the 1980s.
Crowd love's coming.
Well, he's coming in Thursday too, so because the show actually starts Thursday. But I'm going tomorrow so I can help them set up a little bit, maybe possibly be able to at least unload my trailer that night into the room. But if not, I'll just do it Thursday morning. But trying to get as much time as I can to actually put the castle together, because it's been a couple of times that I've done it. It's been a day and a half type build, so or rebuild in the case of Atlanta BrickCon. Or no, Brick Fair, Alabama.
Brick Fair, Alabama.
Yeah. So,
it's gone. I ate it. It's gone. No sentimentality for me. I'm sorry.
There you go. Now you won't get any till like February.
I know.
February, yeah. And Matt's muted.
Yeah, it's
Can we let him talk?
I've held off on opening my package of Canadian Oreos, which you graciously gave me. I want to do a blindfolded taste test to see if people can taste the difference between real sugar Canadian Oreos and corn syrup American Oreos. But maybe I'll do it after my next hockey game. I had some ambitions, but then I forgot to take the Oreo.
Cool. I thought I got you those packs to give to your buddy who demanded them or asked for them.
Well, because Bonnie and they brought me some as well, so I actually now have one that I can use, and then one I can share with my friend Adam.
Fair enough.
Or maybe I'll just do a video of me eating the Oreos and my friend Adam, who wanted them, and they're so delicious.
That could work too.
So I won the this critter thing at our lug meeting, and I'm putting it together. These are fun. There's the Menomina.
I believe Jacob Giddens won that.
He did, but he took that as the prize at my insistence, because I'm like, oh, we don't have that one, so.
And we also got up to some shenanigans.
Oh, the banner,
Shenanigans. That's right.
Space shenanigans.
Yeah, we had the opportunity invited to record a bit with Mark down at Atlanta Brick Co. and talking about our favorite classic space sets. So hopefully they'll produce that here soon. That was a lot of fun. Is that picture? Is that the whole background on there? I was going to see if Jeff Van Winden could spot the error in that picture.
A lot of it's on there. I don't know. Let me see.
He could spot the error. Do you see an error in that? Is it that big backdrop is a recreation of the Galaxy Explorer?
Oh, it's not the actual box art. They actually redrew it.
Yeah, it's a mural.
Well, it's got red. It's missing the green. Oh no, is it missing the green tubes? The green rounds?
Nope.
No. Looks a little shorter than it should for some reason. But I think that's just the angle. I don't know. Let's see how long we can get Mark to hold it there until he gives up. I don't know.
It has a very mid '80s error in it. The logo on the Lego logo on the other thing. If you look at it, when they recreated it, they put the modern Lego logo and not the more yellowed Lego logo. Right there.
The actual logo on the wall on the to recreate the box.
Yeah,
Nobody
the logo
cares
from the box art.
You guys are nerds.
Nobody cares about the logo. Come on.
I do. I love the old logo. I do not like the new logo. I like it with the yellow in between the letters a little bit. I notice it.
You were talking about the forest fires, and it looks like we had a good storm run through the northern part of Ontario a couple of days ago and started a bunch more. So
good.
Yeah.
Well, we got in the car today, and the sky was all hazy. The immediate thought was, looks like we're getting air from the north.
Yeah, driving to work this morning, the sun was red.
Yep.
Sailor's
So,
delight.
can y'all throw some healthcare at that or something? I don't know. Y'all seem to have that. Can y'all do something about that?
I think the biggest problem is that the forest fires are all so far north that we have no accessibility to them to even put them out.
I think I read that the Canada is activating military personnel to help fight the fires.
Oh, it wouldn't surprise me. So yeah, it's
Sounds
crazy.
like something for junior ROTC people in high school.
No, he's right now. Not right now, but he's putting grass on the. He's laying sod for the summer. So, and that's not a euphemism for my son.
Can I tell you, if he was doing that in the South for the summer, he would not be doing it for very long. So
yeah. Well, they're getting rained out every like 3 or 4 days, so he hasn't worked a full week yet. He's worked like 3 3-day weeks because it's always rainy, and usually the Friday is just a catch-up day if they have anything to do. But
it's hilarious.
Parts of the states are burning too, though.
That's one of the ones that goes doo 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 doo.
So Texas is why I wore this hat in my screen name. So my screen name today is so hot, and then there's an old expression: you could fry an egg on the sidewalk or something like that. So I got the fried egg. This is for our Arizona and Texas people. Tim Hutchings, we're thinking about you guys in Texas. And at triple-digit temperatures.
Yikes.
Supposedly, they're hitting the peak, and it should start to get better. But Atlanta, I think, is forecast to get up to 98 in a day or two. So it's coming east, at least for a bit. We've been pretty good.
Yeah, we have.
We haven't. It's been hot and humid. It was pretty good up until the middle of June, and then it got really hot and really humid.
Yep. Yeah.
Our winter's been pretty mild. Or our winter, our summer has been pretty cool. Like, I mean, it's been humid, but not like the staggering, like high 80s type temperatures that we sometimes get. So at least here, but I know in other parts of Canada, it's horribly hot as well. Like I know the West Coast is horrible.
Wait, define horribly hot.
Well, sure, I can put it in Celsius for you, but that won't help you. So that's why
that is not a definition I can understand.
Like drought conditions that in places where they've normally had normal, like regular rain type stuff. I don't know. I don't know enough about it.
Okay.
Nathan Proudlove said the heat index in Iran today is 157.
Oh,
that's not the temperature. Like, what's the heat index? Is that the temperature?
But it's a dry 157.
The heat index is what it feels like to your body. So
Okay.
hot and humid.
We call that the humidex here, but yeah, okay.
You call it the humidex?
Yeah. Because it's the amount of moisture in the air depends on how hot it is, right?
That sounds like a brand of humidifier.
And it also is a great window cleaner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was gonna say it sounds like the thing they keep the cigars in at the humidor.
Yeah. So yeah, Nathan just said 104 plus full 90 humidex.
Wow.
So I mean, you can't get higher than 90 until with it would be basically raining, right? Like that's probably how the theory works.
In Georgia, we call that August, but
one of my other social groups, the Atlanta Star Wars collectors, had their big meeting this last weekend, and they on Sunday had a thing where you could visit a few people's houses, and they were going to show off their Star Wars collection, and then they were all supposed to go to a Braves game. And for like a microsecond, I was like, "Oh, that sounds like fun." And then I went, "No, the last time I went to a Braves game in July, I sat perfectly still and just felt the sweat beat up on my body and trickle down my back between my shoulder blades. And I swore I would never go to a Braves game in July again." So I'm like, no, we're not going to the Braves in July.
And the Braves then got beat like 8-1 or something like that. So
it's all been Matt's fault. He wasn't there.
That's right.
That's true.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But I wasn't there, so I'm in the clear.
It wasn't your fault. It was your fault because you weren't there. Don't spill that, Matt. Please don't spill that.
So yeah, the other thing I opened on the Prime anniversary, whatever, I ended up getting a couple of Target sets of the dots, and I opened them up, and put them into trays. So now they have to go into other things.
Because Matt doesn't have enough dots already.
You can never ever have enough dots. I mean, you never know when you're going to decide to do a 1,000 dot image. That's clearly the lesson to be taken from my experience. Is there is no such thing as too many dots.
Yeah, I know, Matt. Look up. I bought this kit because it had one color of 1x1 round dots that I didn't have enough of.
Yeah.
I needed like 26 of them. This thing had 34, so I bought it on Amazon. It was like $50. And I'm like,
So-
oh god.
So this was the one that I got the most excited about, which is probably can't see, but it's the dark green
Or dark
1/4
green.
pizza slice, and it's a new color. I'm like, ooh, dark green. I need some of that. If anybody ever needs vibrant coral in a quarter circle, just send me a request. I have more than I could ever use in my lifetime.
I have a Bricklink store full of it, so
So does everybody else.
yeah, pretty much. That's why a while ago they brought out some people started building the vet mosaics that were using those quarter rounds on weird angles, and I'm like, yes, someone's starting a trend. Please continue. And I never sold a single one of those pieces.
There's so many in existence.
Yeah. Crazy.
But the nice thing is I got the set that has the letter packs,
Oh yeah.
and each pack comes with three full alphabets, and then I bought 2 of them because they're 50% off. So I bought 2. So I've got 6 additional alphabets for when I need to spell things. And
I bought like 20 of them off of Bricks and Pieces when they first came out. I don't know if they're still
They're like $1 a pack, right? Which is
Something like
kind of
that,
cheap.
yeah.
yeah, I bought them when they first came out, and then I ended up using some, and I thought, maybe I should have bought more. So
The one thing I do hate about them though is because they're round, it's very hard to get them aligned.
yes,
Whereas
not that any of
the square tiles were just so much easier, obviously.
yes.
Dear Lego, please come out with square tiled letters again, so I can
Yep.
buy like thousands of them.
The other letter that they did was the letters for the typewriter set.
Yeah.
Those were really nice printed letters, and I was hoping that those would stick around on Bricks and Pieces for longer, but they did not. Some of the letters sold out a while ago, and they're already starting to get pricey on the secondary market.
The black ones with the silver writing, the 1x1 tiles that they've had, the letters like letters E and S go for $5 plus a piece now on Bricklink.
Huh.
It's crazy.
Is there a dot with a classic space logo? There's not
There
one
is.
officially.
No, there is. There,
Okay.
it was a dot. It was a friend's bracelet. It was like a dots one, and it wasn't 100% classic space, but it was very close.
There's a planet. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've got a dot with a classic space printed on it, and it was Eclipse Graphics had done one, and he gave me one. And where it's gotten to, I don't know. So, Mark got delivery.
Got pizza?
That was timely.
Yes, they finally dropped it off at 8:27 p.m.
He was out watching the show and
Unboxing video time.
Yeah.
What'd you get?
let's zoom in on this, eh?
Well, I already told you guys what I bought.
I wasn't here.
But-
so no, you didn't.
We can unbox it for funds.
There is a 2x2 round tile that has a classic space sticker on it, or it's not classic space. It was the orange Lego theme that they had. That was very close to the space logo.
Why are Lego shop boxes so plain?
Do you have a box big enough to put that in?
Yeah.
Crumply paper.
I just scared the dog.
Why you hate me?
I threw that paper and she ran like I had shot at her.
Scary. Yes.
Woohoo!
Here's my
Hey, you have to build it now, right?
and the box is dented because they crammed it into the box here. So I'm going to. Oh, they damaged both of my GWPs.
Aw.
They crammed this into the box such that it crammed into here. So they damaged both of them. Thanks, Lego. Good
It's
job.
Bionicle. It's already damaged.
Well, this is true, but you know.
I'm just joking by Hanukkah fans.
I'm gonna be talking to customer service about those. Maybe I'll
Hey,
get
you boys dented my bonkle, boy.
Here we go. Here's the wacky fun. Woohoo!
It's got macaroni
It's so
in it.
wacky. It's so wacky and fun.
Yeah, piggies.
Yeah.
Bacon.
Yeah.
You could barbecue one.
It's wacky fun times.
Wacky.
It's a box.
And here it is. It's the Temple of the Dragon Energy Cores, Matthew, not energy balls.
How many balls come in that?
One,
I think just the one.
which is absolutely weird because it is pluralized in the name of the set.
It's right there.
That's
One
very
ball.
disappointing. That's very disappointing.
That's all right, because Chris only comes with one ball now too, so it's
One ball to rule them all, just like Lord of the Rings.
But hey,
Actually, it's funny because the box is A+ and Chris.
I thought this was a really cool looking set anyway. I think it's neat. I like the tree and the temple. I think it's cool.
That's awesome.
I was at Ye Old Lego store today, and we were talking about the tree on one of the Friends sets, and I noticed that it has the 3-pointed leaf piece in red, which is a brand new, like, okay, now I want it.
Which set?
The Friends set that's like the multi-story, like 5-story building where each floor,
Okay, yeah.
the
That
tree
apartment
has
building.
red leaves on that. So
Okay, cool.
Hang on, I'm looking. I'm
So-
grabbing something.
I'll share my my delivery story. So we were at our meeting on the south end of the metro area, and I got the text message from FedEx that they had made my delivery. Now my item was a Lego item, but it was from Best Buy, and Best Buy did the no hassle shipping where they just slapped a sticker on it. And when it arrived, it was laying, and there's actually a puddle of water
Oof.
on the box. The box is bowed in. And so I opened the door and I said a few choice words, which I will not repeat. And then I set it on the floor just inside the door to get, there was another item on the porch that needed to be brought in. And then after I reached down to pick the box up again, the box literally disintegrated in my hand, and all of the poly bags from the set spilled out on the floor of the entryway. I have never had a box literally collapse in my hands. So, yeah, I will be making. I don't know if Best Buy will even care at all, or if they'll be like, "Well, it's too bad." But I need to call and complain.
It's crazy.
Complain. I've had a number of damaged stuff over the years. I don't really give too much of it. I don't give people a big, but come on. All they had to do was like set it by the door, and it was on my porch. It wouldn't have gotten wet. But no, it didn't.
That's kind of lame. Yeah. I couldn't get this to over. This is for Mark. I got this. Actually, I would rather have Steve Martin reply to that because I do not play with my balls a lot. Do you know what movie that's from? Matt, do you know what movie that's from? Jeff, do you know what movie that's from?
Unfortunately, I do not.
Steve Martin and John Candy, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles.
Okay. I wasn't sure. Honestly, they did a bunch of movies together, I believe.
I've
Haven't
seen
they?
the movie,
They must have done at least one, like more than one.
I want to say they only did one.
Okay, I could be wrong. They were on SCTV together, so it could have even been from that. Who knows?
Was Steve Martin on SCTV?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they were. I could be wrong.
I don't remember Steve Martin being.
I'm just trying to cover the fact that I didn't know what movie that was from. That's all I'm trying to do.
Matt, have you seen Planes, Trains, and Automobiles?
multiple times, but it's been a really long time, and I don't. It's not like some movies like Wayne's World where I know every word of dialogue. Or Napoleon Dynamite. Be real nice if you could pull us into town.
I was pretty young when Planes, Trains, and Automobiles came out, I think.
I was in high school. We had gone to a basketball tournament over the holidays, and our coach took us to the movie theater. We saw that, and he
Okay.
was kind of like when they were going through the scene where he's returning the rental car receipt, and he that scene, he was just like, "You boys know not to tell your mom and dad, right?" I'm like, "Yep, we're good."
I was in like grade 6 or 7 when that came out, so
Quiet you.
because I'm a few years younger, but that's okay.
Yeah, I mentioned that movie to Thomas a while back, and he's like, "What are you talking about, Planes, Trains?" And I'm like, "Have you never seen it?" He goes, "No." I'm like, "Okay, we need to watch this movie then." You know, he's a connoisseur of '80s things in general, and I'm like, I can't believe you love the '80s and you've never seen it.
Oh, that's a classic. Although, it's the end of the 80s, 89. But of course, it's one of those things whenever it's on, I'm reading all the Internet Movie Database and all the trivia and all the articles. And there's like a whole lot more of Planes, Trains, and Automobiles filmed than was in the movie. There are actually a couple more storylines in it. Like one of the things that the Steve Martin's wife actually, her storyline that they cut most of is she thought he was cheating on her as part of the thing. That's why she's so upset when he comes in the door and so relieved that it's Mr. Griffith comes through the door and everything. So there's that. And there was 2 or 3, like the pizza guy that delivered the pizzas, the guy that stole the money and all this kind of stuff. Those art fellows. Yes.
I remember that one. So I'm also thinking that I watched it a lot on one of our local broadcasters here, and it could have been that they cut that line out completely.
The pillows?
The playing with your balls.
Oh yeah, they could have. Well, and if you ever watch the TV edit, the scene where he returns and uses the F-bomb, they actually totally refilm that scene because they know, like, this is going to go on TV. We can't bleep this 17 times, 19 times, whatever.
Okay.
No, they actually have the whole scene refilmed without him dropping the F-bomb that many times. So
He says it that many times, 17.
it's either 17 or 19, and I should know. Yes. And the best part is it's the secretary from Ferris Bueller is the lady behind the counter. He's a righteous dude. I love her.
I'm trying to remember her name. It's Edie something.
Yeah. She's great.
Every line she has in that movie is a Ferris Bueller.
Edie McClurg.
She passed away recently.
I don't believe she has passed away.
Oh no? Okay.
No.
So since you guys, go ahead. Mark.
IMDb does not have a passed away date for her.
I maybe it's the principal, the actor who played the principal passed.
Yeah,
Someone
he
passed away recently.
Yeah.
Well, the guy who played the principal did some really, 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 really gross stuff. So he got in a lot of trouble.
Oh. Well, somebody on Ferris Bueller's cast passed away.
So since you guys are going to a show this weekend, sorry, Matt. Are you guys going to go see the Oppenheimer Barbie double feature?
I am probably going to see one of the two, and it's going to be Oppenheimer. So,
Okay.
I texted my buddy, said, hey, you want to go see Oppenheimer on Sunday? And he said, well, I already have an invite to go see Barbie with a couple other people. And I said, well, I would see Barbie. And he goes, you would? I said, have you seen the preview? It's totally like wink at the camera. Yes, we know it's Barbie. And there's the scene in the trailer where they go out and Ryan and Barbie's like, all these guys are looking at me, and Ryan Gosling goes, yes, and me too. So I was like, I would absolutely go see Barbie. It reminds me of like Legally Blonde with Reese Witherspoon. I mean, I'm not going to be that funny, but I thought the Legally Blonde and Clueless were quite funny movies.
well, I will admit though they've got a lot to live up to because the treatment of Ken and Barbie in the Toy Story movies was absolutely perfect. Especially with Michael Keaton being the voice of Ken, it was hilarious. So hopefully it does well. That will be a pass for me. It's just not. It does not look like I will be entertained even sarcastically in that. So
I'll
Oh,
probably wait till it comes out for rental or just to watch on whatever streaming service at some point, maybe. Or I'll see it. I don't know. If someone says to me this weekend, "Do you want to go see it?" I'll be like, "Sure, why not?"
it's getting terrific reviews so
Yeah.
far. People have seen it. People are like, "Oh my goodness!" It's like it's knowing. It's kind of like you're in on the joke. Yes, we know it's very plastic and artificial stuff. So
well, kind of the magic that made the Lego movie super special, I guess, because it was self-knowledgeable of itself, and especially the first one. I literally have not seen the second one since I saw it in the theater. Not that it was terrible, it just didn't have the magic. So maybe, I mean, sure, maybe I'll just say it. But my son is into Chris Nolan films. He's big into it, so he's really excited. And it is a prequel to Iron Man because Mr. Stark was there at so yeah, he was there at Manhattan Project. So.
the other,
Go ahead, Matt.
go ahead.
No, go for it.
The other preview that just came out this week that I am absolutely ecstatic over is the preview for Napoleon, which comes out at Thanksgiving. Looks great. I can't wait.
Wait, is that a prequel to Napoleon Dynamite? That would be amazing.
Yes, it is. Although technically Napoleon used a lot of dynamite, so maybe.
I was gonna say also I was surprised. I heard Mitch. You know how sometimes like you'll be going through your news feed or whatever, and you'll see like them like just say that this movie's going to be totally horrible or whatever, and then like I read that somewhere for the Mission Impossible movie, and I'm like, oh, maybe I won't see it right away. And then I went to Rotten Tomatoes, and the critics gave it like a 94, and the audience gave it like a 96, and I'm like, okay, apparently I need to change my opinion on that one.
I think, I mean, love it or hate it, I kind of enjoyed the last Indiana Jones movie. I really did. It had some feels. It had some weaknesses in it, admittedly, but to be trashed and tanked or whatever, like people made it out to be, do you think it's a function of the fact that we're like, I'll just see it when it comes on streaming? I mean, because we get it, in 2 months? There's no wait. Like we had to wait a year and a half for Empire Strikes Back to come to beta and VHS or something, it seems like. So if there's no real big push to go see it in the theater, maybe the new thing is we're just not going to go see it. I'll see it. I'll see it in a month.
When it comes to streaming or renting, at least.
Yeah.
I did not see Indiana Jones, but I guess one of the things that sort of kept me away wasn't so much reviews, but just like, can you really buy an 80-year-old man as an action movie? Like, you've seen it. Is it plausible, or are you sitting there going like, eh?
It was pretty plausible. I mean, yeah. I mean,
he didn't really do anything too extreme in the movie.
Okay.
Well,
no, he was not like
off the cliff thing that they've advertised. I haven't seen the movie yet, but
are you talking about Tom Cruise with Mission Impossible? Because
is that what you guys are talking? Oh, you're talking about Indiana Jones. Sorry,
Indiana Jones,
different old man.
Yeah, well, they're both up there. Tom Cruise not so much, but yeah, no, I saw Indiana Jones too, and it was decent. I mean,
okay.
Although the way they ended it, they got to a certain place and then they didn't really show them getting back. It's just magically they're back.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you could have added a little more drama in that area, but okay.
It was nostalgic seeing Sala in there, and that was really good. And it hit enough moments. I got a little misty in a couple of spots, and realizing age and change and stuff like that. So I liked it. It was better than Crystal Skull.
I was watching the Red Letter Media guys talk about the movie, and I do agree with their criticism that the prologue of the movie was too long. Like it was, the whole opening scene was like 30 minutes.
What?
And yeah.
Not a prologue. That's like Act 1.
Yeah. Well, it was too long. They could have cut that way down, and the movie would have been better for it. So
they're like, Harrison Ford's still asleep. Add a couple more scenes to that opening. So this is a reality, though. Watch movies at home, and we get them a lot sooner. And the sooner they tank, the faster you get to see them. So Flash, you can see that tomorrow, right, or something like that. I don't know.
Or
You've already been able to rent it. Oh no, is it tomorrow?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah, I saw it in the theater. So
it's, I find that it's not so much kids in the theater as it is adults who decide to check their phone in the theater, and they don't use dark mode on their phone, so their screen lights up bright white in the middle of the movie theater. It's like somebody turned on a flashlight. Yeah, what is that? Who doesn't use dark mode, Grandpa?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I will completely back you on this. Not so much from experience in the theater, but when cell phones first came out as a teacher at the beginning of class, say like, please put your cell phones on vibrate so they don't ring and interrupt class. So students today, their phones never ring. Like I never hear a ringtone ever, ever, ever. But the faculty meeting, every single faculty meeting, like somebody's phone will ring and then you get this. Oh, it's my phone? Oh. And it's still ringing, and then they get it out and they're like, and it's like a 2-minute thing to like silence the ringer. I'm like, It's 2023.
Turn your phone upside down. That's usually how you silence it these days.
15 years ago, weren't you the one telling people to set it on vibrate? Like, how is it that the teacher groups are the ones that always have someone's cell phone going on? I'm just like, I don't get it.
Or you have people making dad comments like, I don't want an extended warranty, click, that kind of thing. So,
egg joke. Matt just cracked. You've got an egg on your head, dude. You just cracked.
Oh yeah, no, I'm fried.
Okay, fried, cracked.
Yes.
Oh jeez. But yeah. So yeah, the other problem I'm finding these days too with the theater is like our theater in town, we've got like the one good quality sound screen theater and then all the smaller ones. And we went to go see whatever came out just before Flash.
Spider-Man?
My son and I went. Oh, I think we went to go see. Sorry, what did you say?
Indecent Exposure.
Spider-Man, the Spider-Verse.
Spider-Man. Yeah. Maybe we went to go see. Anyways, we went to go see a movie, and Flash was playing in the theater next door, which was the higher quality one. And my kid's like, "Oh, can we go see that later this week?" And I'm like, "Yeah, sure, we can go on Thursday or whatever." And then I go to book the tickets on Thursday, and it's already been replaced by the next movie in that theater because they're so close together during the summer, right? Like Mission Impossible came out last weekend. Oppenheimer and Barbie are both coming out this weekend. So technically, one of those could take that spot. Luckily, it didn't. So I'll be able to watch.
This is how you know you live in too small of a town, Jeff.
Well, we got 70,000 people here. It's not that small of a town. It's just the theater is old and inside of our like downtown mall, so it just
you have more than 2 screens.
We have like 11 flash stands. Yeah, that must have been the movie. Yeah.
I went to college in a little town of 10,000 people and 40,000 people, but the college was 10,000 of the population. And when you go to the cafeteria, there was this guy named Steve, and he would take your ticket. Because I'm old enough, we had like physical tickets, and then we had a 1-screen movie theater in town. And when you would go there in the evening, and Steve would be there also taking your ticket.
Well, where I grew up in Warrenton, 2,500 people, 5,000 in the metro Warren County area. We had the one theater. It was run by Mr. Warren, who also was like the bank manager, and so he was just keeping the theater alive. And in the paper that was produced every week, you would get the movie schedule. There would be 2 movies a week in the matinee and on this card, and you were supposed to stick it on the cardboard cork thing that Mom had by the phone, right? And then that's where I read that I could go see Smokey and the Bandit, but my mama wouldn't let me go. But anyway, you would go, and your mom would drop us off at the theater. We'd walk up to Mr. Warren, pay our $1 for the ticket. This is like late 70s, early 80s. And then the question was, Mr. Warren, what time is it over? And he'd tell you the time. You walk back to the car, tell Mom, come pick me up at, when the movie's over. Then you go spend another $1 to get a Coke, a blow pop, and popcorn, and go with your buds. And that's what we did in Warrenton on like Friday nights all the time. So, but movies wouldn't come to Warrenton until they had probably been out for a couple months, right?
Yeah, so they were cheaper to get, right?
Yeah. The movie cycle was a whole lot longer. And then in the late 80s, when I had a car,
And
my
color.
friend and I would go to Augusta and we would watch movies on opening weekends. So yeah,
Big
big
Yeah.
city. That's right.
Yeah.
I tell my students, I said, back when I was a kid, in 1979, our neighbor got cable television and there were 21 channels. And they always like snicker, and then I said, and there was a channel that showed movies on TV called HBO. And they're all like, oh my gosh, you're so old. And then I'll say, but because in those days, they didn't show movies on TV. And so they would actually bring them back at the movie theater at our small town. And you could go back and see Jaws the next summer. They'd be like 1 week only. Jaws will be back or Star Wars will be back. And I was like, people didn't have VCRs yet. So, or Laserdisc. So you would go back to the theater and see it again for the 1 week only reading. And they're all just like, man, you lived in the dark ages.
Yeah. In fact, I used it in the sermon Sunday. I talked about getting cable TV at my dad getting it. We got it in like 84. But Dad got a front projection TV when cable was coming. It was the one with the big screen from the Enterprise, and it had the 3 cameras in the front and the big mirror on the seat, what looked like a seat in front and everything. And it looked good if you were like within 1 degree of center. If you were off any, it was terrible. But yeah, man, that was awesome. That was high rent. And then we had a laser disc, RCA laser disc back in the day, and that was what I watched Wrath of Khan on. Stick that thing in there, and it was awesome. You had to flip it over when they were about to transport down to the underground moon. That was where you had to flip it over. And so when they were about to do the Kirk to Spock, he gives him the code, the hours instead of days.
Days could be weeks. Hours could be.
Yeah, minutes. Hours would seem like days. I read you, Spock. Anyway.
Lieutenant Savick, always speak in code when you're on a monitor transmission.
Yeah. I could really quote that movie from the beginning. I could also quote Blazing Saddles because I watched that so much, but I'm not doing that. We want to stay on the air. So.
I've never seen that all the way through. I caught it a couple times, like partially on the TV screen, and my parents just never watched it. And then I don't know, I just never. None of my friends we should watch it.
Well, what was funny is living through the 80s as they played that all the time on CBS on like Saturday nights. It was like one of their ones they would play, and how progressively more stuff they started to cut out on it. They just cut the language out, and then they're like, oh, wait a minute. That word probably we need to do something with that. So, but for those of you who have not watched that movie, it does have some terms that we don't find kosher. But understand that movie was written by Richard Pryor and Mel Brooks, basically to make fun of people who would use that word. And the movie is hilariously classic, but I have not showed it to Jake yet. I'm like, I need to let you wait on that one. Because he's like me and you don't want it to be this way, but I will pick up quotes from movies and want to say them in regular conversation. And there's quotes from that you don't want to quote in regular conversation.
Like Napoleon Dynamite. Somebody was like, I've never seen Napoleon Dynamite. And I said, well, it's not really that funny the first time. It's funny the second time that you see it. And they were like,
because you're stupid enough to watch it more than once? Is that why?
Because part of it is like, I watched it and I heard all the stuff about how funny it was. And I watched it and I kept thinking, well, when is it going to get funny? And then after I watched it, I'm walking around the house and I'm saying, like, I'm just repeating lines of dialogue that are funny in retrospect, but they're not that funny the first time you hear them. It's kind of weird. And then the second time I watch it, I am like saying the lines back to the screen. And it's just a funnier movie the second time that you see it. It's weird, but it just is.
Agreed. Oh, do y'all remember the people with the big satellite dishes in the yard? Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
That is one that we quote in this group all the time. Your mom goes.
Well, I mean, I actually the last couple of comments there, the the antenna for TV,
This is true.
and also the huge satellite dish. My grandfather had both of those. So earlier in the 80s, my grandfather had the satellite dish that he and my dad spent a weekend putting up on a pole that was attached to the side of the house and had the motor that would turn the antenna that was connected to a dial that sat on top of the TV. And you could turn the dial and there was a little blinky light that would go around and the antenna would turn to
We had
point
those too.
stations.
You were
Yeah.
part of the 1% of the 1980s then.
No, that was at a time when cable TV existed. So my grandfather did all that crap with an antenna, but wouldn't pay for cable TV.
So we lived out in the cable was not an option. So people would buy the giant dish and they would just like pirate it. Like you get to see in the old days, you'd see like the live sporting events and the commentators would be like
That's the most Canadian thing I've ever read. I'm sorry.
That was normal, pulling sleds behind snowmobiles. Still is, as far as I know.
That's a mental.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Matt.
Oh, so my dad was like, well, we're not spending that money buying a satellite dish the size of a Volkswagen. So we never had that. So we just had the rabbit ear antenna, and we could get 2 of the 3, ABC or NBC. But if we wanted to watch CBS, Dad had to physically climb up on the roof on a ladder and turn the antenna. And the first couple times he didn't have it marked. So one of us would stand in front of the TV with the front door open, yell. Another one would stand in the front lawn and yell up, "Go back. No, too far." And it was like the telephone game trying to turn the antenna to tune it in so we could just watch CBS. And then we couldn't get the other 2 channels in if it was oriented that way. So you had to go back up the next day and like turn it back to watch the other. So it was a huge commitment if you were going to watch that one channel. And, you had to risk life and limb to climb up on the roof and rotate because we didn't have the electric powered antenna.
Oh, this is funny. The satellite feed would continue in commercials, and that's correct because I remember my friend saying, "Gosh, what was the?"
Oh, okay.
Yeah, on CNN, one of the anchors, Bernie something or other, Bernard. Anyway, literally, my friend was like, I was watching it, and they went to commercial, and he literally pulled out a bottle of bourbon and took a shot.
Well, the sporting events before they realized people were watching the live feed, some of the cam writers would cut to well-endowed women in the commercial breaks, and the guys would make comments, and then they were like, "Oh, people are hearing that. We got to stop broadcasting."
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. Well, for me, Channel 6 was ABC, Channel 12 was CBS, but then we had 2 UHF channels. 26 was NBC, and Channel 20 was PBS, which we all watched Monty Python on the weekends because they had naked chicks in it. And so, it was hilarious. But, I'm going to go watch public TV. And that was before Dad would take over with Lawrence Welk and Lawrence Welk and Hee Haw would come on. What was he saying?
Nice.
What?
That's awesome.
That explains a little bit about you, Nick, I think.
Where he gets, yeah.
And what kind of retirement home did you put your parents in later?
One without cable.
Right.
Well, I can remember, gosh, we had one color TV in the main den, and then Mom and Dad had a rabbit ear TV in black and white in their room. And Sunday nights, they would let me go back there and watch Battlestar Galactica on black and white, and I would miss it, man. I loved it. So it doesn't hold up so well, but I still loved it back in the day.
You folks and your multiple TVs in bedrooms. Holy cow. My parents.
Hey, dude, in '83 is when I got my ColecoVision, and I got a like a 20-inch color TV for my room, buddy. It was not hooked up to cable because we had one wire coming in the house, and it was awesome.
So here's a question now for you. How many TVs have you got in your house now?
Me?
Like, JD came over and she's like, every room in your house except for your bathroom has a TV. And I'm like, well, in the kitchen, I guess, technically. And I'm like, yeah, that's about right.
I got one right here.
Exactly.
Refuse to
F4.
put a TV in the bedroom. And the old TV is in the living room with rabbit ears, so we can watch Lego Masters and the Olympics off of the rabbit ears. But we basically have one television.
Okay.
That's it.
I have one in the living room, and I have one right here in the Lego room. So
That's the TV I watched Firefly for the first time and paid attention to it. It means a lot.
actually, no, I believe the TV you watched Firefly the first time was the old TV that I still had a tube TV that sat up on the shelf.
Oh, was it? Maybe it was. It could have been. Gosh, that's a long time ago.
So my mother grew up in a household that didn't own a television. She graduated high school in '69. And so my mother was like, she was very anti. She was like, you shouldn't just watch TV all the time. So I mean, that's one reason why I had Lego as a kid. My parents were in favor of educational toys. My dad got me like the little like box where you could connect all the electrical circuits, and you could you were supposed to program something or get
Operation. I know that one.
a chemistry set. I had like the learning toys.
Yeah, we had that. It was made out of wood. It was a big board, and you
Yeah.
had the instructions, and you could wire it to have there was a light sensor and a lamp on it, and you could do all this kind of stuff. Yeah, that my ADHD self was like, this is hard. I'm done.
I think I played with it about 5 times, and I'm like, this is too much work.
That's right. We call a professional to rewire the house. Why am I doing this?
Right? I was like where's the fun coming in here? I'm doing all the work. Oh, look, the light went on and off. Oh, great.
Well, I will say that, and the other day I just happened in one of those stations we get was replaying Benson. It was like playing the first couple of episodes of Benson, which was my mom's favorite show. She laughed. And I can remember playing with Lego, watching Benson, getting ready for Dukes of Hazzard to come on, and watching Benson. She would be snapping peas. Good, a super good memory of all that. But there was Lego spread all over the living room floor for me to play in and all that kind of stuff. So,
You mentioned Benson. I just rewatched Sports Night from the late '90s, early 2000s, and Benson is the studio manager or the studio executive or whatever in that show. And when I start watching it again, I'm like, oh my god, I forgot about him. It's been so long, but that's a good show to watch.
Yeah, he was a great guy. Benson was hilarious because it was really the they would cut on each other, really sarcastic, and my mom, being a little sweet Baptist lady, would cackle at those two cutting on each other, all that kind of stuff, which was hilarious. So,
what's that stuff behind everybody? It's something we usually talk about, but I don't know what it's called anymore.
I mentioned Lego in my last thing. What are you talking about?
I'm just fucking.
It's messy.
It's my fault. I started asking about movies.
It's nostalgia.
All of your Legos packed in a box going to somewhere else in Canada. What are you worried about? So
yeah, it's all packed in boxes. Yeah,
we are doing the old gray part of the name.
This is true.
It's true. It's true.
So
other than Mark, we're all wearing gray. Oh wait, I'm wearing gray. Just
Cat Dad. Where you didn't bring the cats in today? What's up with that?
They're downstairs. We'll get some kitty time in. Maybe next show.
Okay. Good deal. All right. Well, we are a little past an hour. We'll go ahead and close this down. We actually had great number of folks hanging out with us. So thanks for hanging out with the non-Lego Lego show. And so I hope you have a great night. Be awesome and build awesome. Have a